Hi, welcome back to another one chart lesson. Today we are doing Heat Waves by Glass Animals. It just yesterday topped the JJJ 100 in Australia. You may not even know what the JJJ Top 100 is, but it's just a countdown. Heat Waves #1. So I thought I'd do a lesson for it because I started to work it out and I thought it was quite a nice simple little song, but the more you dig into it, the more interesting it is. I am playing it today on an electric guitar, but you can just as easily play it on an acoustic guitar. We're using a lot of shapes that sort of move around with some different finger picking. What you just heard then was the intro part, which is kind of like, it's a weird sounding guitar. It's like they've got some kind of effect on it that makes it sound quite wavery and ethereal, and it's kind of nice. But after that, it sort of settles into a more heavy production. And what I've done is I've made an arrangement here that will take pretty much everything and play it on one guitar. So download your one chart because you're going to need it. There are 2 pages to it, and we need to play a few bar chord shapes. So if you don't know your bar chords yet, click on the link down below in the description and look at my tutorial about using bar chords and learning how to play bar chords quickly and easily. And if you already know bar chords, great, let's get stuck into it. So the intro that we have already kind of covered a little bit is this top line, and we're going to go through 4 shapes. Now, I'm not going to use the chord names for these at the moment. It's more useful, I think, to just look at these as chord shapes. The song is in the key of C sharp minor, so keep that in mind because the chords as we go through the song will actually relate to the key, obviously. First shape. You've got that up on your chart. It's 11 on the D string. Use your first finger for that. Then with your 3rd and your 4th fingers, because I think that's the most easiest fingering to use, 3rd and 4th fingers go on the B and E strings on the 12th fret. So you've got 11 on D, 12 on B, 12 on E. Now the picking pattern is a very straightforward 8th note pattern. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we go through those notes from D string up to E string. 1, 2, 3. Do it again. 1, 2, 3. Then for the last 2, we go back to the D string and back to the B string. So it kind of does it 3 times without the E string on the last time through, if that makes sense. Like that. That's your pattern. And that picking pattern we're going to follow all the way down through this intro. So that's your first position. Then we move our first finger down to fret 9 on the D string, and now we change our other 2 fingers around so the pinky is on the B string now, 12th fret, and the 3rd finger is on the E string, 11th fret. We've got those notes. Same pattern. Move to the 3rd position on your chart. We slide everything down. Now, the easiest way to slide this down and to change positions is, I think, to kind of let your eyes follow your first finger. Your first finger goes from the 9th fret on the D down to, the 9th fret on the D down to the 6th fret on the D. Your other 2 fingers follow, so it holds the same shape, but now we just lift our 3rd finger off the E string. So our 2nd finger takes the 7th fret on the E string. So now we've got 6 on D, 9 on B, 7 on E. Same finger picking pattern. And then our last position, move that same shape down again, but change the 3rd and the 2nd fingers around again. So your 3rd finger is now taking the 6th fret of the E string. Your first finger, when you change those shapes, slide that first finger, watch the first finger and just slide it down from the 6th fret of the D string down to the 4th fret. So when you get to the 4th fret on the D string, you're on the 7th fret of the B string, that sounded pretty loud, and the 6th fret of the E string. Do that again. You do that pattern 3 times before the production changes and the bass comes in, and we'll get to that in a sec. So it sounds like this. I'll go through it 3 times slowly. here is where the bass and the drums and everything comes in, and our notes actually change a little too. You can play that pattern pretty much all the way through the song and it will fit okay, but if you want to be accurate about it, it follows this next pattern. So down to the second line on your chart where it says verses and chorus, and now we're following some set chords because we're using the bar chord shapes to follow these 8 chords. So start with our C sharp minor, which is up here on the 9th fret, looks like an E minor on the 9th fret. Next chord is a B, which looks like an E-shaped chord on the 7th fret. Then we do a G sharp minor, which is an E minor on the 4th fret. And then an F sharp, which looks like an E on the 2nd fret. Now, the notes we're going to pick out of these are the E string for the bass note, then followed by the D string and the G string. So with our C sharp minor, you can opt to put your finger on that note on the A string for that C sharp minor chord, but we don't need it. What we need is the E string, D string, and G string. Now the picking pattern is slightly different. Again, it's not exactly the same all the way through this song, but this is pretty close to how it goes for most of the song. So if you do this picking pattern, you'll get a good sound from it. Starts the same way, but instead of going back to the bass note and then the D string for the last 2 notes, we're gonna hold that 6th note, which is the G string, for an extra half beat, so it goes for a total of 1 beat, and then we're going to play a half beat of both of those D string and G string notes. So it sounds like this. Right? Like that. Then we move down to the next position. So this takes a little bit of practice to get this flowing smoothly, because the very last thing you do and the very first thing you do on the next bar, on the next chord, are very close together. So you've got to be able to change quickly and cleanly. So you go from the C sharp minor down to the B, and again you can use the whole B chord shape, or you can just leave off that A string, which I think is probably the easiest way to do. But if you think of these as chord shapes, they're much easier to remember the actual shapes that you're going for. So there's a C sharp minor. Down here you've got 7 on the E string with your first finger, 9 on the D string with your third finger, and 8 on the G string with your second finger. Moving down to the next position, which is a G sharp minor. So you're on 4 on the E, 6 on the D, 4 on the G, down to the F sharp chord, which is 2 on the E, 4 on the D, and 3 on the G. Okay, so they're your first 4 positions. Then it kind of sounds like it does the same thing again, but the bass goes down to E and the notes change as well. So our chord changes now to an E chord. Same picking pattern all the way through, but you're on open E, 2nd fret D, 1st fret G. Then we're back up to the B, which is a bit of a leap, but you'll get used to that. You could do it here, but it involves changing strings as well as shapes, so I think it's easier just to zap right back up to the 7th fret again, to the B. Then we're going back down to this G sharp minor position, but instead of a G sharp bass note, we're doing a C sharp bass note. So it's more accurate to call this chord a C sharp minor 7. It's really just the 4th fret A string, 6th fret D string, 4th fret G string. And then the last one is back to the F sharp. Okay, so that run through those positions again, the whole 8 chord pattern, the whole 8 bar pattern. And that 8-bar pattern goes for the next 8 times through. That whole section repeats 8 times. It's your verse and it's your chorus. So you'll get a lot of practice playing that, and you'll end up playing that very, very nicely and smoothly. After you go through that, we're on to the second page of your chart. It runs through the first 4 chords of that pattern again. So it kind of like repeats 8.5 times, but rather than try and write that on a chart, we've got another 4 bars of this. And instead of going down to the E now, we do go down to the E, but it's a chord. And although in the actual song we don't have guitar chords strumming through, if you want to carry through the sounds and the tones to fill this song and to carry it through the way it should be done, you would play an E for a bar, then a D sharp minor, which is an A minor shape up here on the 6th fret, then down to a G sharp minor again, and then an F sharp. And that, I've called that bridge 1, but it's kind of like the second half of the 9th repeat of that big section, if you know what I mean. After you've done bridge 1, we're back to the chorus again, and the chorus runs through the same way. Now, I've stopped putting the chord shapes and the actual standard notation for the rhythm. I've stopped putting that in here to keep things kind of as clean as possible on your chart, but this is the same as the chorus was before. So we're doing this. Not meticulously played there, but you get the idea. Once you go through that, we're on to bridge 2. Now again, these are chords that are sort of more synth-like in their sound, but if you're the only guy playing it on a guitar, you gotta carry this through. So it's an E, this time for 2 bars, then an F sharp for 2 bars, then a G sharp minor for 2 bars, and then a B for 2 bars. Then we go back again and try and do most of that again, but we go E for 1 bar now, F sharp for 1 bar, G sharp minor for 1 bar, D sharp minor again for 1 bar, and then E for 1 bar, F sharp for 1 bar, G sharp minor, B, and then it stops. We've got 2 bars of rest where the drum fill comes in, and we are launching into our final chorus. That last section 4 times, and that's the song. There's a section at the end which is kind of really almost impossible to carry through on the guitar, so I haven't charted that out. But basically, once you do that last section 4 times through, that's the song. I hope you understand that. I hope you find that really useful. It's a great song, Heat Waves by Glass Animals. Take your time with it, get round those patterns. As you heard me playing then, I've only been playing this for a few hours, so it's not particularly perfect, I would say, but the tricky part is to move between those positions cleanly. You'll hear a few sort of sliding notes and position shifts. That's okay. Just concentrate on what it sounds like overall and keep that rhythm and the finger picking pattern going throughout. If you need to drop a note here or there, or drop a beat here or there, in order to play that smoothly and keep everything transitioning, do it. As long as it sounds good, it is good. But this is a pretty accurate representation on the chart for you to play this song in its entirety. So thanks a lot for watching, thanks for subscribing and liking, and throw me any comments you have below. I'm really keen to see how people go with this song. because it's a bit of a new one for me, and it's a fantastic tune, and I hope you enjoy playing it. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you again soon.